Hey guys, we are back in the 5-5-10 streets seeing if I can win. Hit that intro.
Yeah, I mean, the nice thing is that I just don't like till, you know.
Alright, we got the flush. Okay, he's got a set of eights. We got him. Hold.
Tell him he's got a lot of class, and it's all low.
Playing 5-5-10 at the Gardens, I sit down with the max, $800, and the first hand I get into, I have ace-queen on the Lojack. I open to $35, and the cutoff 3-bets to $100. Folds back to me, the cutoff only has $275 left, and I debate all three options. I don't have any information on this guy, and I'm thinking a lot about folding here, but I toss in the call to see the flop. The flop comes queen, deuce, 3 with 2 hearts. Pretty great flop for me, and I check. The cutoff goes all in for $275. I call. If he's ahead, he's ahead. The turn is the 5 of hearts, river, 7 of hearts. Terrible run out for me, but it doesn't matter because the cutoff flips over pocket aces. I was toast from the beginning. Very soon after, I'm dealt 7-10 off and pick up top 2 pair in a bomb pot. I get all in on the flop with an opponent for $400 each. My opponent has top pair and a gut shot. We're in great shape, but the board goes runner to give my opponent the straight, and just like that, I lose another $400.
Oh my goodness, this is disgusting.
디스커스팅한 냄새가 나요. disgusting shit.
The very next hand, I get ace-king in the hijack. Time for redemption. The under-the-gun limps, and the +1 player makes it $45. The Lojack calls, and if you know me, you know I'm 3-betting this 100% of the time. I make it $180. Surprisingly, both the +1 player and the Lojack call were 3 ways to a flop, which comes 6-8 jack with 2 spades. Checks to me. This is not a board that smashes our 3-betting range. I have the ace of spades, so I really just want to see a free turn and hopefully improve my equity with an ace, king, or spade. I check. The turn is the 3 of clubs, and it checks to me again. If my opponents have nothing, I have the best hand here with ace-king, and if they have a pair or better, they'll most likely call a bet here, so I think checking is my best option. I check, and the river is the 7 of clubs. Checks to me, I check back with ace high, and the +1 player shows pocket queens, so I am quite glad I did not put another cent into that pot. And just like that, we're down $1,000 in less than 20 minutes. It was funny, I was actually responding to some YouTube comments, and I was talking to this one guy who was like, there's no way you won 17 out of 18 sessions. I don't believe you. You're a liar. And I was just like, well, I'm playing right now, and I'm down $1,000, so... Here we go. Next, I have Jack Queen off on the big blind. The cutoff limps. The button makes it $25. And honestly, if I were raising on the button here, I would definitely make it something like 45. So 25 looks really small and weak. The small blind calls. I don't know what to do here. If I just call, the straddle and cutoff are pretty much calling for sure. And then we're going to go 5 ways to a flop. So I'd rather take the more aggressive approach, even though my hand isn't that great, and I make it 125. The cutoff calls, but then the button and small blind fold. So I'm thinking that the cutoff probably has like a small to mid pocket pair that he thought that he was going to get some good odds if the button and small blind called, but anyway, the flop comes out queen 6-8, all diamonds. We flop top pair, and now I want to charge some of these pocket pairs. I make it $100, but he folds and we take it down. After that, I switch tables, pocket $200, and pick up ace king on the big blind. There's one limper, the button raises to $40. I 3-bet to 160, and the button calls. The flop comes ace queen queen with 2 clubs. We have top pair and are only losing to a queen. There's $340 in the pot. My opponent only has $305 in his stack. I bet small 105. I want him to put in money with all his pocket pairs, flush draws, and weaker aces. Well, he goes all in for 305 total. If he has a queen, he has a queen, I guess. I was never folding top pair for less than a pot-sized bet anyway, so I make the call. The board runs out 7 of diamonds, 6 of spades, and he shows queen 10 of diamonds. Okay, chips. This is it, guys. I'm in for $2,000. This is all the money I brought to the casino today. I usually bring about 2.5 buy-ins when I play. I find that after that, I start to play worse. So here we are on the brink of destruction. I get ace deuce of diamonds on the cutoff, the Lojack limps, I raise to 45, the button calls, the straddle calls, and then the Lojack limper says, and I quote, 45, that is the perfect amount for my hand. Oh boy. So the flop comes out ace deuce 5, we flop 2 pair, the Lojack leads out for $130. I choose to just call and everyone else folds. The turn is the Jack of Hearts, bringing a second flush draw, and the Lojack bets $500. This is a huge bet. I think back to what the Lojack said, and now I'm super worried he has pocket 5s or ace 5. I go deep into the tank, I'm back and forth, I'm stressed, my heart is pumping, but eventually I put in my chips. The dealer says, the last card is a 6. My opponent turns over 4-5 of spades. I win the pot. Unfortunately, in all the stress, I just called the 500, so I missed out on getting $85 more for my opponent. The dealer shouldn't have said no more action, but I'm still happy I took down a huge pot and we're still in it. Next, I'm on the cutoff, this time with pocket 10s, the Lojack limps, and I make it $45. The big blind and straddle call were 3 ways to a flop, which comes queen 7 deuce with 2 diamonds. The action checks to me, multi-way with a card bigger than my pair. I decide to check, and the turn comes the 8 of clubs, bringing a second flush draw. The big blind checks, but the straddle bets $110. I've seen this player take a lot of stabs at pots when he senses weakness, so I think my 10s could very well be good here. Since the big blind checked twice, I think he'll probably fold his hand, so I call the $110. Nope, I am wrong. Very wrong. The big blind raises to $350. God. The straddle calls. I, of course, cannot call here. I fold, and the river is an offsuit 7. The big blind now goes all in for his whopping remaining $160. The straddle folds, so he obviously had a misdraw or something. My question for you guys is, did I make a mistake calling the turn, or was it a good call because the straddle had a draw? I don't know. Let me know. This next hand is a really weird one. I have king 9 of hearts in the Lojack. I open to $35 and the big blind and straddle call. The flop comes 6-9-3 rainbow. I flop top pair, checks to me, and I bet $40. Only the big blind calls, and here is where the hand gets wonky. Before the turn comes out, the big blind says, the turn is the king of clubs, giving me top 2 pair, and the big blind checks. I bet $110, and the big blind follows through and raises to $300.
I'm a man of my word.
What does this mean? Does he have a hand like 7-8 for a straight draw? Did he flop a set? 2 pair? We both have over $1,000 behind. I'm confused, so I just call to evaluate a river. The river comes a 7, and he checks now. I think he would have kept betting a lot of his strong hands here, so I make it $300, trying to get some value, but he folds and we win. Maybe he did have a draw like 7-8, and I should have just re-raised on the turn. I don't know, hindsight's always 20/20, I guess. Next up, I have pocket 8s in the small blind. There's 1 limper, and the button opens to $45. I call, then the straddle 3 bets to $170. The straddle seems like a solid player. He's been the most active 3-better, so it's not like he only has aces or kings here. The button calls, and we're not super deep here, so this is most likely a fold, but at the same time, lucky snowman. Okay, gamble one time. The flop comes 10, 10, deuce, rainbow, so all things considered, pretty decent flop for the snowman. I check, the straddle checks, and I already know what the button's gonna do. He goes all in for $390. Now, this guy has been bluffing all night. With his stack, I think he would have shipped it pre-flop with 10s or better, so I actually think I'm in a great shape against him. Then I look at the straddle. He reaches into his purse and pulls out $200 to top up. I figure, he probably missed with ace queen or ace king or something. And now that he's out of the equation, there's only one question. Do I want to be a hero? Do I want to trust my gut and go for it? This one is for all the naysayers, all the people who told me, Brantzen, don't be a hero. I call. Then the straddle calls as well. Uh-oh. I think I just got angled. Well, I'm screwed. The turn is an ace, we both check. The river is a jack, I check. He goes all in for $200 something. I fold. The straddle shows pocket 10s for nothing less than quads. The button flashes an ace and folds, so I guess I was right there, but oof, I was so wrong about the straddle. Last hand on the vlog, I pick up 8-9 of diamonds on the hijack. I open to $35, the cutoff, small blind, and straddle call, 4 ways to a flop that comes 7-3 jack with 2 diamonds. Checks to me, I decide to bet small, $45. I have so much equity here. If I get raised, there's a good chance I'll end up re-raising. But that's not what happens as the cutoff, small blind, and straddle all call. The turn comes an offsuit 4 and it checks to me again. With so many people showing interest on this board, I choose to just check, see if I can hit on the river. The cutoff checks, and the river is the jack of diamonds. We bink the flush, and it checks to me. If anyone had a hand that makes a full house, I think I probably would have heard from them by now, so I'm feeling pretty good about my hand. I want to target a jack that now hit trips, so I bet $300. But sadly, everyone folds, and with that, I rack up and call it a night. Well, that was rough. I was in for 800 initially, just ran into it nonstop, and then I ended up in total for 2K. At my lowest point, I think I was down like 1,300, and I clawed my way back almost till even, and then I made that punt with pocket 8s. I fell for the trick. The guy was counting his money and it looked like he was checked out of the hand. The other guy had been bluffing, and he was indeed bluffing. He would have beat me anyway, but I was ahead of him at the very least. But yeah, I ran into quads, so that doesn't feel so good. And I ended the day in for 2,000, out for 1,232 for a loss of 768. Doesn't feel great, could have been worse, but anyway, thanks for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one.